Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, AlanMcBridePool. This is 9-ball handicapped tournament. The race is 8-6. I need to win 8 games before my opponent wins 6 games. Today I'm playing Michelle Liby. Shoots at the 9-ball. Overcuts it, but it goes in. That's 9-ball for you. Michelle's a good player. Very straight shooter. Michelle just purchased the Ultimate Pool USA to bring it to the Wichita, Kansas area. And I believe her leagues start up anytime. So that's pretty exciting. I have played in 3 Ultimate Pool USA events. I played in the Kansas City Open twice. I played in the Denver Open as well. I was a few days away from playing in the Boston Open. I was making my way across the country. I was in Connecticut, and I got a phone call of a family matter, and I had to come home immediately for. So I didn't get to play that event. But Ultimate Pool USA, really fun format, pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, if you're in the Wichita area and you want to try it out, Michelle Liby is the person to talk to, as she is the league operator. So pretty cool. I don't start out great in this match. I had just come off of playing Vincent in the last video I posted. If you haven't seen that yet, go back and check that one out. So I was still kind of in the mindset that I didn't have to play my best. So I kind of start out that way. I don't play terrible, but it's not my best. But about halfway through the match, I definitely realized Michelle's a really straight shooter, and I have to find my focus. So let's go ahead and watch this. This does go hill to hill, so stick around. This is a very close match. Guys, if you're liking my content, definitely like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps the YouTube algorithm and keeps me energized and motivated to continue to record the videos, edit the videos, do these voiceovers for commentary for you guys. So, and again, this is just my perspective, things I'm thinking, the way I play, my skill set, just the way I think about pool. You would get different commentary from different players, even around, better than, under my skill set. So it's just my perspective. I hope you guys enjoy it. That was a good shot. Again, you guys are going to see that Michelle's a very straight shooter, pockets balls really well. Down 0-2. When you're already spotting someone 2 games to begin with, now I'm spotting her 4 in a race to 8. I need 8 victories before she gets 4 more victories. Definitely an uphill battle now. I ended up playing 7 matches total in this particular tournament. I finished seventh, eighth place. I lost my opening round to Cody Cash. That video is on the channel. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Him and I have a really close match. And then I went on a little heater on Saturday, playing 6 matches total, winning 5 and losing 1. Talked about this in my last video. This is the last match I was able to record because my phone started to die and I just wasn't comfortable recording any more matches with the battery I had left. But it's unfortunate because I really played well at the end of this match and then moving forward in my next 3 matches, and I wasn't able to record any of it. And when I say well, like I was playing at the my ceiling, the best I'm able to play. I really found a really good rhythm. I wish I could have got those matches recorded for you guys and for myself. I was proud of how I pulled it all together. You guys know I'm big on not going for risky shots unless the situation absolutely calls for it. Definitely more of a defensive minded player first. Michelle puts a lot of pressure on you, though, because she's such a good ball pocketer. Things that I could leave other people near her Fargo level, you just can't leave her. She's going to find a way to make it. More often than not. Not every time, of course, but she's a real straight shooter. Get a little fortunate there that the ball didn't rattle in the pocket and stay there. I clipped the 7, get behind all that. She's forced to, kick at this ball now. Came a little short there with ball in hand, which is crazy, but I think now I have to move this cue ball more than I really should have had to. It's kind of odd during this match. Michelle and I both noticed that Friday it was really humid. Tables were playing really slow. The cue ball and object ball were gripping. When contact was made a lot of times. But then Saturday, It was a lot different conditions, and everything was playing a lot more cleaner, crisper, faster. But during this match, Michelle and I both noticed that everything started to slow down. It wasn't like Friday night, but we both definitely noticed and talked about a speed change in the middle of this match. Man, 9 ball is such a wonky game. I mean, she hits that 9 differently and it goes in. I'm down 3-1. She needs 3 games. I need 7. But luckily for me, it doesn't go in. Hit that, overhit that a little bit. Now I can't really cut it in comfortably. So you guys know what I'm going to do. Trying to get that behind the 9 ball. I don't. But it goes in, and I play a really good safety against myself. It's that side pocket angle scratch that just comes out of nowhere. I think I was even saying something to her about it. Like, how can you even calculate for that? You just can't see it scratching from that angle, but somehow it does. You can't pocket a ball from that angle, but you can sure scratch from it, huh? I came up short on shape on the 6 ball with ball in hand on the 5, causing me to have to, cut that 6 ball in thinly and run into the 8. And anytime you run into balls, you just don't know what's going to happen. And there you go. That's why you try to avoid it at all costs if you can. I got really lucky she didn't run that out. Right here, the 8 won't go, so I'm just trying to figure out a way to get the balls separated. Side to side, end to end, that's all I'm thinking about right here is how do I get these balls separated and just hope for the best. Works out really well in my favor. Come with a pretty thin cut there. Long straight in 9 should be no problem, especially on a value bar box. This was the first bigger tournament that Michelle and I ever played each other in. We played in like small little weekly tournaments a long time ago. So long ago that at first we both thought this was the first time we'd played each other. But when I thought about it a little more, I was like, no, I think we have played in small events a long time ago. Maybe one small tournament or two at the most, but it had been a long time. Yeah, as you can see, guys, if there's an offensive opportunity, I mean, she's pretty successful at just making something happen. Really straight shooter. Just you're going to see a common theme with that. That's part of the game where, Michelle needs to sharpen her skills, just get a little better at the defensive play and controlling her nerves, at the end of games, which we all need to work on all the time. That's a constant battle for all of us. But I would say most of the players that I see around Michelle's level, it's a common theme. They're really good ball pocketers, and they just, when you get down in the weeds and need to play safe and stuff, that's where, they're just not real sure about what they're doing all the time. But once they get that, they're gonna hurt a lot of feelings. As pool players, you can kind of tell when you're beginning to enter the zone. And it's hard to describe what that is. All pool players know what I'm talking about when I say that, though. For me, the telltale sign is the cue ball. Once I can predict where the cue ball is going, what path it's taking, and I'm getting pretty close to what my mind saw, and I'm executing that, I know that it's happening. And that's kind of what happens in the middle of this match. I feel like I got the cue ball on a string more often than I don't. I mean, what a great bank shot right there Michelle makes. Just confidently fires it in long rail. That one was off angle, and it just didn't provide much cover the way she shot it. You guys know what I'm doing in that situation. I'm banking it long on purpose, leaving the cue ball behind the 7, trying to get ball in hand. It was a really good attempt at the kick and stick. But she runs into a ball, and I can see the 2. I couldn't shoot the 2 just into the rail and laying the cue ball behind the 6 because the 3 had the piece of the rail I would need to hit blocked. So in that situation, the safety becomes really difficult. In the shot, that back cut was actually a better option than trying to play safe right there. But if the 3's not blocking that shot, I'm not sure if I would even attempted that. It wasn't a good breakout. It wasn't a good safety attempt. I'm trying to leave that behind the 7. I'm not even close. And then here comes the straight shooter. All right, it's 3-3. I need 5 more games, and she needs 3 more games. Yeah, this is not good for the program. Just 3-3, 4-4, 5-5. That leads to a 6-5 loss, 6-6 loss, even a 6-7 loss for me. And I knew that. I think in the next couple of games, I even comment that to her that, I can't be trading games with her. Because with the spot, she wins that every time. That's probably the out where I really started to feel myself getting in the zone, just getting that cue ball right where I want most of the time, getting the good angles. And really, it's what I need to do. Michelle really is winning this match as far as the handicap goes. Yeah, you guys know I'd much rather be playing safe in that position, but she left me so little of the one ball, I really just didn't have the option. Definitely got lucky that, everything ended up where it did. And she really didn't have a makeable shot. She had a tough off angle bank there. Trying to bank that back up table, missed the two ball, hit the rail, and then bounced behind the two. And as you see, I ran into the two, causing the cue ball to ricochet back out and run into the one ball. So just not a good shot on my part. It was touchy, though. It wasn't easy. Yeah, that ball had to be pretty tight. I wouldn't have looked at it so many times if it wasn't. I'm sure it would go. That's why I shot it. But just looking at how many times I looked at it, it must have been really tight. I'd have preferred to be straighter, so like just a roll down the table in a straight line, but this isn't bad. I came far enough to make this a pretty makeable shot and do a lot with the cue ball. I put inside spin to get down there. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have spun it, and I just should have went back and forth a couple rails. The reason I did that, I was trying to avoid the side pockets. But the spin did make it a tougher shot. I ended up missing it, hanging it in the hole. And even though she's hooked, for anyone that's been playing pool a while, this is a relatively easy kick shot to hit the ball. And if you hit it, you have an extremely high chance of making it. That's exactly what happens. She hits it a little firm, so she doesn't get a good leave. That's the only thing that helped me there. The nine's blocking the path to just make the six. I couldn't bank it because the seven was in the way, and I think the double kiss was on. So I just play a really simple containing shot there. Just push the six to the rail, leave the cue ball underneath. Because, you just got to keep the game simple, guys. You try to do too much and crazy things happen. I was pretty relieved I could see this whole ball. There's a lot of ways, she gets full coverage there, but I got a little lucky. So there I'm just trying to cut the six really thin into the seven. The six stays where the seven's at, and the cue ball comes back up table. I missed the six entirely. The eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Straight shooters doing what straight shooters do, especially when there's not a lot of cue ball movement. The balls are close together. They're just going to pocket balls. It's what they do. So, yeah, here we are, 4-4. I need 4. She needs 2. Not good for the program. Right now, I'm kind of feeling like it's now or never. That was a smart shot. You have a push out the first shot after the break, and she decides to pocket the 9 ball so it's not hanging in the hole the entire game. I bump that ball. I tell her. She says it's fine. We're playing cue ball fouls only. But when you do that, you have to stop and tell them that you bumped it and give them the option to leave it where it is or move it back. If you don't, then it could be a foul. So definitely stop and let them know. Also, the shot right there, guys. So, yeah, the push out she had, many players might have given that back because they just didn't see a clear path to pocket the 1. Or they might have attempted a really wild shot on the 1 ball. But you can see where my mind goes. I'm just going to thin the 1, keeping it up table, get the cue ball down table, try to find coverage, end up with ball in hand. I had visions of 3 fouling her here. I don't even remember if 3 fouls were allowed in this tournament or not. I think they were. But I was trying to shoot the 1 exactly how I did, but roll the cue ball forward a couple inches, taking that 1 rail escape away from her. I didn't execute it. Got a little too low on the cue ball, turned into a stop shot, and, pretty easy hit. That was a good try. Right here, I'm looking at where the cue ball ends up on any stop shot and which angle I want for my next ball to get to the ball after that. So that's what I'm looking at there. Which side pocket do I want to shoot this in with a stop shot to get that angle? Because that's a big difference on where the cue ball is going to be on which side pocket you decide. So little things like that, when you can shoot in either pocket, it's important to look. Don't just walk up to the table, oh, it goes in the side and shoot it. Figure out where that cue ball is going to sit with 2 different stop shots, because the difference there is pretty massive. 4 or 5 inch difference creates a completely different angle on the next shot. That's pretty unlucky. Every time I get a little bit in trouble, guys, I'm not a obvious favorite to make the ball. I'm constantly shooting in a way that if I miss it, here's the predictable outcome. And I'm not saying it always works out that way, but I'm giving myself the best chance to leave my opponent in an uncomfortable situation. I'm not shooting to miss, but I'm just shooting in a way that I understand that, if this happens, this is going to happen, and just figure out the puzzle from there. I'm not just trying to make the ball with no thought of what it's going to do if it misses, where the cue ball is going. That's just my style of play. Always has been, always will be. Trying the kick and stick right here. I've talked about in other videos, when I first started playing pool, I had a coach who really made me focus on defense. Kind of a funny story I'll tell you guys. I wasn't very good when I started playing pool, guys. I just wasn't good offensively. I mean, you hear people say this, but really had a hard time making ball in hand. Like, it seemed like a chore. And this guy played really well. And he says to me, Alan, some people are just naturally talented at, pocketing balls, and some people aren't. Well, unfortunately, you aren't. So you're going to need to learn to win different ways. Like, you're going to need to learn to win playing defense, and just getting ball in hand. And we would do our practice sessions, and it could be an 8-hour long practice session, and 4 hours of it was him and I playing various games, and I wasn't allowed to pocket balls. I won by making each game last as long as I could. Basically, I needed to play safe or some sort of containing shot every time I got to the table for 4 hours of an 8-hour practice session. And he made me do that for probably about 6 months. And that's where I developed this mindset and the skill set. So as I've gotten better offensively, those roots have never left me. It was just ingrained in me early on, and it's just how I see the game now. think you guys know by now what's coming here. All right, 6-4. It's now a race to 2. I need to get to 8 games. Michelle needs to get to 6. I felt really good about where I was at here. Race to 2, I'm breaking. So I feel pretty good about me being the one to get to the hill first, but 9 ball in a bar box, you never know. I didn't break those balls very good either. That's why they're still kind of a cluster near the racking end. Hand rack. Just stuff just happens. Yeah, you guys will see a theme. I just don't go for risky shots or low percentage shots, when you can just play safe, play containing, make them uncomfortable. Now, there are positions I find myself in where I just have to go for the tough or risky shot because the safety is just as difficult or more difficult than the risky shot. Those are some of my most uncomfortable positions to be in. I just feel better about what's going on when I know that I'm shooting this in a way that if it goes bad, it's not going to be that bad because I have a built-in defense in the back of my mind. That's when I'm playing my best and most comfortable. When I just have to fully go for this difficult shot, and I probably lose if I miss because there's no way to build in a defensive leave, I'm always uncomfortable in those situations. But I'm working on getting better at it. In the hand flip, I kick that ball in, but there's no justice. I think I can actually make this, but I was a little irritated about being jacked up because, that's a difficult shot. You gotta really hit it good, and I do. I used to jab at those a lot, long backswing, wild accuracy. So, and I still can get that way at times, but I've gotten much better in those spots about recognizing, the calmer you are, you just have better results long term. Yeah, we've touched base on that in other videos. There, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not hooked behind the 9 ball. So I need the cue ball to slide over. And I just take focus off of the pocketing the ball to put a little more focus on making sure that cue ball moves. And it causes me to miss the shot. So, I was really in a position to get to the hill first. Kind of gave it away. I was pretty upset with myself here. You can kind of feel the tension in both of us, I believe. I do not update Michelle's score from here on out, but she is at 5. She is on the hill now, guys. So it's 6-5, even though the scoreboard doesn't say that. Michelle is on the hill. She needs one more victory to win this match. I still need 2 more games. Yeah, that was not a good shot. Missed the ball badly, almost scratch. I get fortunate that she ends up with the cue ball going the wrong way for shape. And she does run into traffic. If that falls a different way and it's easy for her to get on that 3 ball, Michelle's very capable of running this table out. So pretty lucky there. So do we bank this? Do we play safe? These are decisions you have to make. You guys already know what I'm going to do. I used to bank that ball and try to play a 2-way. And I can't remember which pro I heard say it, but they basically said, either play safe or play the offensive shot. Don't do both because that rarely works out for you. And over the years, I've learned that is true. And you just have to make a decision. Am I playing safe or am I banking? And then just go with that option. Don't shoot the bank, and if I miss it, I'll get the cue ball here. Because very rarely does that ever work out. You're going to miss it and not get where you want to be and sell something out, or you're going to make it and get where you want to be but hook yourself in the next ball. So either just commit to the bank and pull shape on your next ball, or just outright play the safe. Don't try to make it. All focus goes to the cue ball. Or the object ball that you'd be trying to, get the object ball hidden behind something. But whatever ball you decide, it needs to have your focus. Give that ball that focus. Don't split it between the two. I have to run into this ball here after the make. It works out well. But it was an uncomfortable situation. I remember being uncomfortable because you just don't know what's going to happen when you're running into balls. You'll notice I shot that really calmly, just really trying to predict everything that was going to happen. And fortunately, it turned out well for me. I need to make this for Hill Hill. All right, guys, it is 7-5. Even though the scoreboard says 7-4, for some reason, I just didn't mark up Michelle's game. But it is 7-5, Hill to Hill. Right here, I'm just making a decision on playing safe, banking it. What's my best option? I decide to bank it. Which is kind of out of the norm for me, guys. Probably just because it was early in the game and because it's Hill Hill. I don't want to let my opponent get to the table, even if they're kicking, because it's 9-ball. They make contact and it goes in and run the table. I'm out. They win and I'm out of the tournament. I get real fortunate right there. So Michelle needs to figure out something good here. The spot Michelle was in there, guys, to me, that's why I talk so much about defense. When it's Hill Hill, you see her really take her time there, try to figure out something good. But in that same situation, the rest of the match, she's just completely looking for offense most of the time. And so when she gets there, it's just not something she's used to doing. So if she did think about defense more often, she might be a little more comfortable and have a better plan going into that situation. Not her specifically, but just players in general. That's why it's so important. She leaves me in the combo. I make it. I win the match, Hill Hill. And that's it, guys. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.